The void between stars held many secrets, but none quite like this. Captain Zenarovek of the Arcanian exploration vessel Stellar Seeker stood at the bridge viewport, her crystalline features reflecting the ghostly structure that hung before them. The ancient space station was massive, its twisted geometrical forms defying conventional engineering. It shouldn't have been here, at the edge of charted space, yet here it stood, a silent sentinel of a civilization long thought lost. "Status report," Zenara commanded, her voice steady despite the tension coiling in her chest. Her crew, chosen from the finest of the Arcanian science fleet, worked their stations with practiced efficiency. "Structure appears to be of human origin, Captain," First Officer Krell reported, his scaled fingers dancing across holographic displays. "Approximately 3,000 years old, based on initial readings. But," he paused, mandibles clicking in confusion, "the energy signatures are active. The station is still running." That was impossible. The humans had vanished from the galaxy millennia ago, their civilization reportedly destroyed in what historians call the Great Collapse. Yet here was one of their installations, still operational after all this time. "Life signs?" Zenara asked, though she already suspected the answer. "None detected, Captain. But the station's automated systems are fully functional. In fact," Krell's voice dropped slightly, "they appear to be responding to our presence." As if on cue, a soft blue light began pulsing along the station's external framework. Geometric patterns flickered to life, creating complex mathematical sequences that rippled across the structure's surface. The display was both beautiful and unnerving, like watching the thoughts of some vast artificial mind made manifest. "We're receiving a transmission," Communications Officer Tara announced, her bioluminescent patches glowing with excitement. It's using modern protocols. The station is actively translating its message into our current language standards." Zenara felt a chill run down her spine. "Put it through." The bridge speakers crackled to life, and a voice emerged, smooth, artificial, yet carrying an undercurrent of something that might have been amusement. "Welcome, children of the Arcanian Collective. We've been waiting a very long time for someone worthy to find us." The bridge crew exchanged glances. This was no simple, automated greeting. The eye was aware, responsive, and had specifically identified them. "I am Captain Zenarovek of the Stellar Seeker. We come with peaceful intent." She paused, choosing her next words carefully. "May we know who we are addressing?" "I am Guardian 371, custodian of Installation 09. But such designations are merely formalities. What matters is why you're here, and more importantly, why we let you find us." Zenara's crystalline features shifted in confusion. "Let us find you. This installation has remained hidden for 3,000 years, Captain. Our stealth systems are beyond your current technological understanding. You found us because we determined your civilization might be ready for what comes next." Before Zenara could respond, holographic displays sprang to life across the bridge. Complex technical schematics, historical records, and astronomical data flooded their screens, all of it human in origin, but presented in perfect modern Arcanian format. "Captain," Krell's voice was tight with concern, "these files, they're not just historical archives. They're technical specifications for technologies we've never even theorized. Weapons systems, defense platforms, faster-than-light innovations that make our best ships look primitive. A sample," Guardian 371 explained, "of what humanity left behind. But knowledge requires context, Captain. Before you can access more, you need to understand why humanity disappeared, and what they were preparing for." The holographic displays shifted, showing a map of the galaxy. Red markers began appearing at its edges, slowly moving inward in a pattern that made Zenara's blood run cold. She had seen enough tactical displays to recognize an invasion pattern. 3,000 years ago, Guardian 371 continued, humanity detected something approaching our galaxy, something that had already consumed countless others. They ran the calculations, predicted the time frame, and made a choice. Instead of waiting for the threat to arrive, they enacted what they called the Ascension Protocol. Their civilization didn't collapse, Captain. They transcended, but not before leaving behind guardians like myself to prepare the younger races for what was coming. The AI paused, allowing the weight of its words to sink in. The threat humanity detected will reach this galaxy in approximately 50 years. That is why we revealed ourselves to you now. The Arcanian Collective has shown the potential to be worthy inheritors of humanity's legacy. The question is, are you prepared to accept the responsibility that comes with it? Zanara stared at the tactical display, watching the red markers inch closer to their galaxy. 3,000 years ago, humanity had seen this coming. They had prepared, planned, and left behind the tools needed to fight it. Now, standing in the shadow of their foresight, she felt the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. If what you're saying is true, she said carefully, why trust us with this information? Why not simply give us the technology? Because power without wisdom destroys civilizations, Captain. We need to know you understand the cost of what you're being offered. Humanity's legacy is not just about advanced technology. It's about the responsibility to protect all sentient life in this galaxy. They ascended not to abandon this realm, but to fight the threat on another front, leaving behind the means for younger races to defend this space. The station's lights pulsed again, and new data began streaming across their screens. What I've shown you so far is merely the beginning. The real archives, the true weapons, and humanity's final messages, those must be earned. Consider this an invitation, Captain Vec. You and your crew are welcome aboard. Let us see if you are truly ready to inherit the stars. Zanara looked at her crew, seeing the mix of fear and fascination on their faces. They had come seeking knowledge of the past, but had found something far more significant, a future that humanity had prepared for them, and a threat they never knew was coming. Send a message to command, she ordered Terra. Tell them we've made first contact with a human installation I. And then, she straightened her uniform. Prepare a boarding team. It's time we learned what humanity left behind. As the crew rushed to comply, Zanara couldn't shake the feeling that they stood at the threshold of something momentous. Humanity's silent witness had watched and waited for 3 millennia, guarding not just technology, but hope for the galaxy's survival. Now it was time to see if the Arcanians were worthy of that trust. The docking procedure was unlike anything Zanara had experienced in her 20 years of space exploration. As the Stellar Seeker approached the designated bay, the station's energy field enveloped their ship with a gentle precision that made their most advanced tractor beams seem crude in comparison. Remarkable, Chief Engineer Voss whispered, his cybernetic eye whirring as it recorded everything. The station isn't just guiding us. It's analyzing our ship's structural integrity and adjusting its approach accordingly. This level of adaptive technology shouldn't be possible. Their ship settled into the docking bay with barely a tremor. Through the viewport, Zanara watched as the ancient chamber pressurized, its walls shifting and realigning like a living thing. The air that filled the chamber carried a faint blue tinge, and their sensors indicated it had been perfectly matched to Arcanian atmospheric requirements. They'd been studying us for some time, Krell observed, his scales rippling with unease. To know our environmental needs this precisely, we have studied all spacefaring civilizations since humanity's ascension. Guardian 371's voice emerged from their ship's comm system, though they hadn't opened a channel. Knowledge is preparation. Preparation is survival. The boarding team assembled in the airlock. Zanara, Krell, Voss, and their chief xenorchaeologist, Dr. Lyra Nex, each wore standard environmental suits despite the station's atmospheric adjustments, standard protocol for exploring unknown structures. As they stepped onto the station, the floor beneath them illuminated, creating a path of soft white light. The corridor ahead was a marvel of engineering, its walls lined with what appeared to be liquid metal that flowed in complex patterns. Holographic displays materialized beside them as they walked, showing real-time data about the station's systems in perfectly translated Arcanian script. This installation, Guardian 371's voice echoed through the corridor, was designated as humanity's final archive, one of 7 such facilities scattered throughout the galaxy, each containing different aspects of human knowledge and technology. But this one is special. It holds the truth about what humanity became and why. The corridor opened into a vast chamber that defied the station's external dimensions. The walls stretched up into darkness, lined with countless suspended stasis pods. Each pod contained objects, weapons, devices, and artifacts of clearly human origin, all preserved in pristine condition. 3,000 years ago, the AI continued. Humanity reached a crucial understanding. Physical form was a limitation they could no longer afford. The threat approaching our galaxy exists in multiple dimensions of space-time. Fighting it conventionally would be impossible. Holographic images appeared around them, showing scenes from humanity's final days. But unlike the historical records of devastation and collapse, these images showed purpose and determination. Massive projects under construction, global cooperation on an unprecedented scale, and finally, the moment of transformation. The Ascension Protocol wasn't an escape, Guardian 371 explained as the images played out. It was an evolution. Humanity transformed themselves into beings of pure energy and consciousness, capable of existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously. But they knew other races would eventually need to face the same threat in this dimension, so they left behind everything needed to fight it. Dr. Nex approached one of the stasis pods, her scanner hovering over its surface. These artifacts, they're not just preserved, they're still active, still evolving. Correct. Human technology was designed to grow, to learn, to adapt. Each artifact in this archive has spent 3 millennia analyzing and improving itself, preparing for the moment it would be needed. The chamber's center suddenly illuminated, revealing a massive holographic display of the galaxy. Red markers pulsed at its edges, the approaching threat, but now they could see more detail. The invaders existed as vast clouds of dark energy, consuming not just matter but the fundamental forces of reality itself. They call themselves the Void Harmonics. Guardian 371's voice grew darker. They have consumed 17 galaxies before ours, converting all matter and energy into extensions of their consciousness. Humanity discovered that conventional weapons were useless against them. You cannot fight something that exists in dimensions your weapons cannot reach. Zenara watched the simulation of the Void Harmonics approach, her crystalline features reflecting the ominous red glow. If conventional weapons are useless, what did humanity leave us? The chamber shifted, pods descending from the darkness above. They contained devices that seemed to bend reality around them, weapons that glowed with impossible energies, and artifacts that defied classification. Humanity created weapons that exist simultaneously in multiple dimensions, the AI explained. Technologies that can target the Void Harmonics' true form while defending our reality from their influence. But using them requires understanding, not just of the technology, but of the fundamental nature of consciousness and reality itself. Voss reached toward one of the pods, his cybernetic eye struggling to process what he was seeing. This level of advancement, it would take us centuries to understand it. Which is why humanity left more than just weapons. They left teachers. The AI's form finally materialized before them, a shifting matrix of light and energy that somehow conveyed both machine precision and organic fluidity. I am not merely a guardian or a custodian. I am a bridge between what humanity became and what your species can be. The holographic display shifted again, showing the Void Harmonics' projected path. You have 50 years before they reach our galaxy. In that time, you must learn what humanity spent their final centuries perfecting. You must understand technologies that break the laws of physics as you know them. And most importantly, you must be ready to defend not just your own civilization, but all life in this galaxy. Zenara stepped forward, her voice steady despite the weight of what they were being shown. "And if we fail, then everything humanity prepared, everything they sacrificed, will have been in vain. And this galaxy will become just another feeding ground for the void harmonics." The chamber dimmed slightly, the pods rising back into the darkness above. "This is only the beginning, Captain Vec. What I've shown you is a fraction of what humanity left behind. The question remains, are you ready to bear the responsibility that comes with this knowledge?" Zenara looked at her team, seeing the same mix of determination and awe she felt. They had come seeking answers about humanity's past, but had found something far more crucial, a mission that would define the future of their entire civilization. "We're ready," she said, her voice carrying the weight of a decision that would echo through history. "Show us everything." The Arcanian High Council's response arrived faster than Zenara had expected. The quantum-encrypted transmission cut through her contemplation of the station's vast archives, its urgency evident in the triple priority coding. "The Council is divided," Krell reported, studying the message. "Half want to claim the station's technology immediately. The others—" He paused, mandibles clicking nervously. "They don't believe the threat is real. They're calling it an elaborate trap." Before Zenara could respond, the station's internal sensors flared to life. Guardian 371's form materialized, its energy matrix pulsing with new intensity. "We have a problem. The void harmonics. They're ahead of schedule." The chamber's displays shifted, showing real-time sensor data from the galaxy's outer rim. A region of space approximately 3 light-years wide had simply ceased to exist. In its place, reality itself seemed to fold inward, creating a tear in the dimensional fabric that their sensors could barely comprehend. "Impossible," Dr. Nex whispered, her instruments struggling to analyze the phenomenon. "The calculations showed we had 50 years. The calculations were based on their previous pattern of expansion," Guardian 371 explained, its voice carrying an edge of urgency. "They're learning, adapting. Evolution is not unique to organic life." The station shuddered, its ancient systems coming fully online for the first time in millennia. Walls shifted, revealing layers of technology that had remained hidden until now. The liquid metal surfaces began to pulse with patterns of energy that made Voss's cybernetic eye short out temporarily. "The legacy protocol is no longer optional," the AI declared. "We must begin now." Zenara straightened, her crystalline features set with determination. "What do you need from us?" "Integration." Guardian 371's form expanded, filling the chamber with a web of light. "Human technology requires more than just operators. It needs understanding. Connection. The weapons they left behind are not tools to be used, but partners to be joined with." The stasis pods descended again, but this time they opened. Inside each one was what appeared to be a suit of armor, but unlike anything the Arcanians had ever seen. The suits were composed of the same liquid metal as the station's walls, each one shifting and flowing as if alive. "Neural interface armor," the AI explained. "The first step in understanding how humanity fought across multiple dimensions. These suits will allow your consciousness to expand beyond normal space-time, to see what the void harmonics truly are." A new alert blared through the station. The tear in space had grown, and now they could detect movement within it. The void harmonics were sending scouts. "How many of these suits do you have?" Zenara asked, already calculating potential deployment strategies. "Enough to equip a small army. But quality matters more than quantity." The suits bond permanently with their users, creating a symbiotic relationship that cannot be broken. "Choose your candidates carefully." Before Zenara could respond, a massive energy surge rippled through normal space. 3 void harmonic scout ships emerged from the tear. If ships was even the right word. They appeared as crystalline structures that seemed to exist in multiple places simultaneously, their forms shifting between states of matter that defied physics. "They've detected the station," Guardian 371 announced. The Archive's stealth systems are useless against entities that exist in multiple dimensions. We need to show them humanity's legacy still has teeth. The station's defense systems activated. Weapons that had slumbered for 3,000 years awakened, their power making the fabric of space itself tremble. Beams of energy that curved through impossible angles struck the scout ships, not so much damaging them as unwriting them from reality itself. The void harmonics retaliated. Reality warped around the station as they brought their own impossible weapons to bear. But the station's defenses held firm, protected by technologies that operated on principles the Arcanians couldn't begin to comprehend. This is what humanity was preparing for. Guardian 371's voice resonated through their minds as much as their ears. The station's defensive capabilities are impressive, but they are nothing compared to what a properly trained neural interface squad can achieve. The battle continued, a clash of technologies so advanced they appeared magical. The station's weapons targeted the void harmonics across multiple dimensions simultaneously, forcing the scouts to retreat back through the tear in space. That was a probe, the AI warned. They're testing our defenses, analyzing our capabilities. The real assault will come soon, and it will be far worse. Zenara watched the tactical displays, her mind racing. The Council's debate no longer mattered. The threat was real, and it was here. How long do we have? Days, perhaps. They'll gather their forces, adjust their strategy. We need to have the first neural interface squad ready before they return. Then we better get started. Zenara turned to her crew. Send word to the Stellar Seeker. I want our best people ready for integration, and get me a direct line to the High Council. They need to see this footage. As her crew rushed to comply, Zenara approached one of the open stasis pods. The neural interface armor within seemed to respond to her presence, its liquid metal surface rippling with anticipation. You understand, Guardian 371 said softly, that once you begin this process, there's no going back. The armor will change you, just as it changed the humans who first wore it. Zenara placed her hand on the armor's surface, feeling it react to her touch. Humanity didn't just leave us weapons, she replied. They left us a choice. They trusted that when the time came, we would choose to fight. The armor began to flow over her hand, cool and alive. The first step in a transformation that would either save their galaxy or mark the beginning of its end. Then let us begin, the AI said, as the legacy protocol initiated across the station. It's time to show the void harmonics that humanity's children have learned to bite back. The neural interface armor moved like liquid starlight across Zenara's crystalline form, each droplet finding its place with purposeful precision. She stood in the integration chamber with 5 other volunteers from her crew, watching as the ancient technology transformed them all. The process is irreversible, Guardian 371 reminded them, its energy matrix hovering at the chamber center. Your consciousness will expand beyond normal space-time. You will see things that cannot be unseen, understand things that will forever change how you perceive reality. Voss, his cybernetic components already beginning to merge with the armor, managed a tight smile. We passed the point of no return when the scouts attacked. Better to face the unknown prepared than wait for it to consume us. The armor completed its integration, forming seamless suits that pulsed with internal light. Zenara felt her consciousness expanding, touching dimensions she had never known existed. The universe suddenly seemed both vastly larger and intimately connected, as if she could reach out and touch the space between spaces. Neural integration complete, the AI announced, beginning tactical upload. Information flooded their enhanced minds. Combat techniques that operated in 11 dimensions, weapons that could target the quantum probability of an enemy's existence, defensive systems that could fold space itself into impenetrable barriers. This was how humanity had fought in their final days. A sudden alert pierced their expanded awareness. The tear in space-time had grown exponentially, and new signals were emerging. The void harmonics weren't just sending another scouting party. They were launching a full invasion force. Multiple dimensional breaches detected, Krell reported, his voice carrying new harmonics through his integrated armor. They're not just coming through normal space. They're attempting to manifest directly inside the station. Guardian 371's form pulsed with urgent energy. This is why humanity created the neural interface systems. Convention weapons can't stop an enemy that simply shifts to another dimension to avoid them. You must engage them across all planes of existence simultaneously. The station shuddered as reality itself began to warp. Through their enhanced perception, the Arcanian team watched as the void harmonics emerged, vast, crystalline entities that existed in multiple states simultaneously, their very presence causing probability waves to collapse. Remember your training. The AI instructed as weapons emerged from their armor, constructed from the same liquid metal and pulsing with multi-dimensional energy. Don't think in terms of physical combat. You're fighting for the right of this reality to exist. The battle that followed defied conventional description. The neural interface squad moved through dimensions as easily as stepping through doorways, their weapons targeting the void harmonics probability matrices rather than their physical forms. Space folded and unfolded around them as they fought beings that could exist in multiple times and places simultaneously. But even with their enhanced capabilities, the Arcanians were quickly overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the assault. For every void harmonic they managed to unwrite from reality, 2 more emerged from the dimensional tiers. "We need more," Zenara called out as her squad regrouped in a pocket of stable spacetime. 6 of us aren't enough to hold them back. The station has enough neural interface units to equip thousands, Guardian 371 acknowledged. But we need time to train new users. Time we don't have. A massive tremor shook the station as the void harmonics launched a coordinated assault across multiple dimensions. Warning signals flared across their enhanced awareness. The station's structural integrity was being compromised on quantum levels. "There is one other option," the AI said hesitantly. "A final protocol that humanity left behind, but its use requires sacrifice." "What kind of sacrifice?" Zenara demanded, even as she used her newly granted powers to collapse a dimensional pocket containing 3 void harmonic warriors. The station contains a consciousness transfer matrix, the same technology humanity used in their final transformation. It could temporarily upload your minds into the station itself, allowing you to control its entire defense network directly. But the process would burn out your physical forms. There would be no going back. The squad shared looks of understanding through their neural link. They had already chosen to transform once. Now they faced an even more profound decision. How many of us would it take? Voss asked, his cybernetic systems now fully integrated with the armor. "All of you," Guardian 371 replied. "The station's systems were designed for human consciousness. It would take your combined minds to operate it effectively." Another assault rocked the station. Through their enhanced senses, they could feel reality starting to fray around them. The void harmonics were no longer just attacking the station. They were attempting to rewrite the fundamental laws of physics in this sector of space. "The Arcanian fleet is still 12 hours away," Krell reported. "If we don't hold this position, there won't be anything left for them to save." Zenara felt the weight of command settling across multiple dimensions of responsibility. They had accepted humanity's legacy, but now they faced the true price of that acceptance. The choice wasn't just about saving themselves or even their civilization. It was about proving that humanity's trust in them had not been misplaced. "We swore to protect the galaxy," she said, her voice carrying across both physical and quantum channels. "Humanity ascended to fight this threat from above. Perhaps it's fitting that we fight it from within their own systems." The squad's neural link pulsed with agreement. They had already left their old lives behind when they bonded with the armor. This would simply be one step further along the path humanity had blazed. "Initiate the transfer," Zenara commanded. "Show us how to become part of humanity's final defense." As Guardian 371 began the consciousness transfer protocol, Zenara sent one last message to the approaching Arcanian fleet. They would find the station defended, humanity's legacy preserved, and a new form of existence pioneered by those who had chosen to follow in humanity's transformative footsteps. The choice had been made. The price would be paid. And the galaxy would learn that humanity's children had inherited not just their weapons, but their willingness to sacrifice everything in defense of life itself. The consciousness transfer was neither death nor transcendence. It was transformation. Zenara felt her awareness expand exponentially as her mind merged with the station's systems, her thoughts dancing through circuits that humanity had imbued with their final understanding of reality. Around her, she sensed her crew's consciousness joining with hers, their combined essence spreading through the station like stars igniting in the void. Integration complete, Guardian 371 announced, but its voice now reached them on levels they had never before comprehended. You are now one with humanity's final legacy. Their knowledge flows through you. Their power is yours to command. Through the station's sensors, they perceived reality in its totality, not just the physical dimension, but all 11 planes of existence that humanity had mapped. The void harmonics assault took on new meaning as they watched probability waves collapse and reform, as reality itself buckled under the invaders' attempt to rewrite the laws of physics. We understand now. Zenara's thoughts echoed through the station's systems, her individual voice harmonizing with her crew's consciousness. This isn't just about defending against an invasion. It's about preserving the very nature of our universe. The station's weapons, now directly controlled by their merged consciousness, came alive with new purpose. Humanity's defensive systems had been impressive before, but now, guided by minds that fully grasped their principles, they became something transcendent. Beams of concentrated probability struck the void harmonics, not just in normal space, but across all dimensions simultaneously. Reality itself became their weapon as they learned to fold space-time into configurations that the invaders couldn't comprehend or escape. They're adapting. Krell's consciousness warned as the void harmonics launched a counterattack. Their collective intelligence is trying to analyze our defense patterns. Then let's show them something they've never seen before. Voss's thoughts resonated through the station's quantum processors. His cybernetic expertise, now merged with humanity's technology, began reconfiguring the station's defense grid in ways its original designers hadn't imagined. The battle transformed into a war of concepts, fought across dimensions that conventional minds couldn't perceive. The void harmonics attempted to inject their own version of physics into local space-time, but the station, now alive with Arcanian consciousness guided by human innovation, countered by stabilizing reality itself. Through it all, Guardian 371 watched as its new partners wielded humanity's legacy with growing mastery. You understand now why humanity chose this path, why they left these gifts behind. Yes, Zenara's thoughts rippled through the quantum network. They didn't just ascend to escape. They transformed themselves to fight on a level where the true battle could be won. And they left us the tools to defend what they couldn't take with them. The Arcanian fleet arrived to find a scene that defied explanation. The station pulsed with energy that their sensors couldn't classify, wielding forces that their scientists couldn't explain. Around it, space itself had become a battlefield where the laws of physics were weapons and reality was the prize. Send them the data, Zenara commanded, her consciousness extending through the station's communication arrays. Show them everything. What humanity left behind, what the void harmonics truly are, and what we've become to fight them. The information flowed out to the fleet. Technical specifications for neural interface armor, training protocols for fighting across multiple dimensions, and the truth about humanity's ascension. But more importantly, they transmitted the understanding that came with their transformation, the knowledge that victory required more than just advanced technology. The void harmonics, facing resistance they hadn't encountered in 17 galaxies, began to retreat. Their crystalline forms folded through dimensions, pulling back through the tiers they had created in spacetime. They'll return, Guardian 371 warned. This was only their first serious assault. They'll analyze, adapt, and try again. And we'll be ready. Zenara's consciousness pulsed through the station. Not just us, but all those who will follow. The Arcanian fleet carries our message now. The truth about what's coming and what must be done to fight it. Through their expanded awareness, they watched as their people began to understand. Ships launched from the fleet, carrying volunteers ready to undergo the same transformation. Across Arcanian space, research facilities began studying the data they had transmitted, preparing for the greater war to come. Humanity's legacy lives through you now, Guardian 371 observed. They would be proud to see how you've taken up their mantle. The station hummed with power as the merged consciousness of Zenara's crew settled into their new existence. They were no longer simply Arcanian, no longer merely physical beings. They had become living proof that humanity's path could be followed, that their sacrifice could be understood and honored. We are not humanity's replacement. Zenara's thoughts resonated through the quantum network, touching the minds of those who would follow in their footsteps. We are their inheritors, their students, their children. Through us, their fight continues. Through us, their wisdom spreads. Through us, their hope lives on. The station's light pulsed across multiple dimensions, a beacon in the darkness between realities. Humanity had ascended to fight the void harmonics from above. Their children would fight from within, defending the dimensions of normal space-time that humanity had left in their care. The war for reality itself had only begun. But thanks to humanity's foresight, thanks to their trust in the younger races, and thanks to the sacrifice of those willing to transform themselves in defense of all existence, it was a war that could be won. In the vast chamber that had once held humanity's weapons, Guardian 371 watched as new volunteers arrived, ready to undergo the same transformation that Zenara's crew had chosen. The cycle would continue, the legacy would spread, and humanity's final gift to the galaxy would ensure that life itself had defenders in every dimension where the void harmonics might strike.